Hello, class. Today we're going to talk about the final project career strategy that you will be doing as the last assignment in this semester. This is the biggest assignment. It is worth 70 points, and so it is very important that you hit on the things that I'm talking about per section, that you have all the information. As you can see, there's quite a bit of stuff, as well as there is a rubric. And so I'm going to go over all this as well as kind of show you what my previous example looks like for just from some perspective here. So you're looking at a total of 7 sections that are covered in this, and it's covering the entire class and up to this point, and just trying to get you to cultivate what you've already learned. And so a lot of this will be pretty simple because it's stuff that we've already covered in the class. So the first part is to focus on an industry specific job and qualifications. So that job that you uploaded early on in the semester with the requirements for the job, as well as like how you have them. So you can see here company name. I just need to see company name, position, 3 ways in which your unique selling proposition or skills or qualifications align with the company needs. And then I need you to identify 1 qualification that you don't have, but that you need to acquire. The branding statement is the next section. In this one, we're going to break it up first. And so I just want to see like a characteristic, like skill or qualifier, like action verb here that you're going to use. This another part I need is a unique selling proposition of some kind. And then the third thing I need is an industry plus an audience. The fourth is an outcome from your services, what's going to result from you doing your thing, and then typing out the full branding statement. For the third part, it's networking connections. I need you to include 2 non-family or friends, close friends, connections for this. And I want to see for each of them, I want to see a name, a job title, information about how you met them, why knowing this person matters or important, as well as what are the next steps of this connection. The next part is the value add contribution. And so for this one, I want you to think about 1 value add contribution from your background that you can bring to the company specifically. And then I want a description from you about that value add contribution as to why it is uncommon among other job candidates or completely unique to you from other candidates. And then in addition to this, I want you to identify 1 value add contribution that you can bring to the table over that you don't have yet, that you're going to acquire over the next 5 years. And this is excluding like length of work history. So if you just say, well, I expect to have 5 years of work history outside of this, that's what I mean. Like that's something independent from just getting work history doing it. Part 5 is broken into 2 parts. So the Blue Ocean strategies part 1, I want you to focus on 2 Blue Ocean skills, and then I want you to demonstrate or essentially prove to me why these 2 specifically are Blue Ocean skills, as well as 1 Blue Ocean skill that you do not have yet. And I want a specific plan for how you're going to acquire it. If all I see here is that you are going to take a class, I'm not going to give you points for that, or at least not full points. I need you to tell me specifically, if you say class, what class, why that class, what's that class going to do for you that's going to help you to acquire this, or saying getting a job, what kind of job, why is this job going to give it for you? Like, how are you going to be actually using this when you don't have experience before? Are they going to train you on it, or do you going to have to learn it some other format or way? Part 2 of Blue Ocean, I want you to identify a soft skill and your plan to develop this outside of general work experience, as well as I want you to come up with 2 plans that you're going to increase your visibility, either where you want to work or currently work, as well as a way to develop a strong niche to uniquely position yourself at your work or at a place that you eventually want to work. Interview preparation is also broken into 2 parts. And so part 1, I want you to identify 2 specific examples of positive feedback you received from doing the practice interviews, as well as 2 negative comments you received. And from those 2 negative comments, I also want 2 strategic adjustments of improvement to help compensate for the negative feedback that you are receiving. How are you going to fix that and do better in the future? And then part 2, you are simply answering the question, tell me about a time when you dealt with a difficult situation using the STAR method. You just write it out. Number 7, the last part has 5 components to this. So, and this is a very important part As you can see on the rubric here, it's worth 36 of the total 70 points. So it's pretty substantial. So please make sure you're paying attention here. So the first part is you're going to upload a previous resume either from before the class, or if you don't have that or you can't find it, from the original submission from your assignment when you uploaded your industry specific resume. And then you're going to have the newly updated one from the feedback that I gave you previously on that, or if it was from before the class to currently where it is now. And you're just going to show those and you're going to talk about what you changed on them to improve them. You also, for the second component of part 7, is that you are going to upload a job description. I need to see like highlights about things like preferred qualifications, general qualifications, job requirements, tasks, responsibilities, whatever you want to include here that helps demonstrate pretty well what the job description is asking for. 1 or 2 is just not going to cut it. I need like a pretty well detailed picture of what the job is asking for. And then in part 3, 4, and 5 of this last section, they're going to focus on 3 specific tools that we've worked on in the class: the resume, the cover letter, and your LinkedIn profile. So for this one, I want you to upload the job descriptions, and then I want you to upload the updated, fully updated resume from whenever I give you feedback, whatever you had to change, it's updated. And you're going to have them side by side. And I need something to clearly, obviously communicate to me where you made those changes, or where the, not necessarily the changes, we already did that, where the job description requirements are showing up on your resume or on your cover letter or on your LinkedIn. I don't care if it's arrows. I don't care if it's highlighting. If you're highlighting, don't do it all one color. It's got to be obvious what these are specifically and where. And so you got to find a way, like you'll see in my example, and then I have different colors to represent different things. The arrows can be pointing to specific things from specific qualifications. Well, however you can make it to where it's obvious to me where these are and why they apply to that specific qualification, task, responsibility, skill, etc. that the job description is asking for. And you got to do these for each. So uploading your resume and your cover letter will be easy. For your LinkedIn, it may take you a couple slides to upload this in a PowerPoint setting to where I can actually view it. And so don't worry about that. Just make sure that I can view it. You'll see from my example here. And so I'm going to show this to you. And so I'm on the right page. So as you can see, this is the industry specific job description. I've got the company name, the position that I'm applying for, 3 ways in which my skills or qualifications align with them, and then 1 important skill I don't have yet that I need to get, and the corresponding answers to these. Blue Ocean, or the branding statement, you can see I've got the characteristic skill, I've got unique selling proposition, industry audience, outcome, branding statement. I've got my 2 connections that I'm talking about, non-family and friend connections, name, job title, how I met them, why it was important knowing them, and next steps with this connection for each. My value add contribution, I say at least 1, I put 4, but you can put as many as you want. I just got to have 1 here. Got to talk about why these are unique. If you list 4, talk about the 4, and then talk about 1 like value add contribution or unique selling proposition that you don't have in the next 5 years that you're going to acquire outside of just general length of work history here. And then Blue Ocean, here's my part 1. I've identified 2 Blue Ocean skills for my Blue Ocean exercise that you did previously in the class, as well as an argument as to why these are Blue Ocean. And then you can see my 1 Blue Ocean skill I don't have, as well as my plan to acquire it. I'm very specific, like I talk about a course I need to take, and it's on LinkedIn Learning, and actually what this will actually do as a result of that. Part 2 of Blue Ocean, you can see my soft skill, my plan to develop it further outside of general work experience, and then my 2 plans to increase my visibility and my niche. Interview preparation, here's my 2 positive feedback, here's my 2 negative, as well as my strategic adjustments to fix the negative in the future. And here is my interview answer to that question. Now you can see here, and I'm going to be vulnerable, this is a very, very old resume, so you know that I came from somewhere to do this, but so here's my resume. And here's the updated resume. And so I'm talking about all the different sections that I made changes to, which is the whole thing if we're comparing them. Obviously, this is an extreme example, but you get a point as to what I'm actually changing, and I detail it out. Please detail this out so I can see the changes from the old to the new. And then here's the job description. You don't have to have a picture of it or screenshot. I just did. This would be totally fine if I saw this laid out like this, but I just threw this in because I had the space for it. So here you can see on um, the industry specific resume and the crafted tools. So you can tell exactly where each part pertains to the resume. So MBA I highlighted red, there's my MBA. 5 years of direct industry professional experience in green. I have that up here. These also pertain to experience within my field. So I made them both green because they're actually related to each other. And so you can see the green there as well. Like teaching experience at university, it's very obvious. These are actually shared between this one and extensive knowledge of curriculum development, public speaking, presenting, writing skills. So all of those kind of overlap with the exception of this one down here. Career development planning, elevator pitch, interviewing skills. I have a bullet that pertains to that, and that's pretty obvious. So doing something like this for these, you can see, and there can be overlap, and that's fine, right? Some of the things can be similar to each other, but like it is very obvious which parts that I made sure pertain to what components of the job description. On LinkedIn, you can see this isn't necessarily the order that the images show up in, but it is very, very helpful for that aspect. And then, like I said, in the rubric, you have to have a LinkedIn URL when you're doing this, just in case, like, I don't see everything. If I can see the LinkedIn URL, then maybe I can give you some points for it. But you need to have everything that I required for the assignment in regards to like that I asked for. So you can see like my headshot, my headline, banner, about, education section. I have my experience section. I got my skills section. So I'm covering all the bases here for what I was asking for an assignment, as well as just what things pertain to what components of that. And everything is updated for all three of these after the feedback, if I'm assuming I'm in a student role, that I received. And then I would close. And as you can see here, like I have, sources. If you do have sources, if you just want to lay them out in link format, I don't care. But yeah, so just make sure that this is what you're doing in regards to the assignment. And so if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me, but you will see each section that has weight in regards to it. And so some of them are pretty low. I mean, you get in the value add contribution, blue ocean, and interview skills gets a little higher. And then especially when you get into those last three, the resume, cover letter, and LinkedIn profiles, they're 10 points each. And it is very important that you update your information from previous grading, because I will be checking to make sure to see if you have actually improved these based on the feedback that I gave you. So anyway, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out, but that is it for this video. Thank you.